Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a foundation review on the Stila Stay All Day Foundation and Concealer. Now this is kind of like a revamp of their original Stay All Day foundation, and you've got the little concealer in the lid, and I just love the gold packaging. It looks so pretty. In my opinion, it is a complete upgrade from the last packaging that they had for their Stay All Day foundation, but that's just me. But I feel like they've really stepped up the packaging. But packaging is not the be all and end all. We want to know if this stuff works. So I'm going to be trying it out for you today. Looking at the website, this foundation claims to be lightweight, high definition, buildable, and oil free. They do say this is a matte foundation as well, which is my personal preference. I do like to be glowy, but I tend to get oily throughout the day, so I prefer to just use a matte foundation because I know it's gonna get oily anyway. And of course there is a concealer in the lid, which they say is a full coverage concealer, and it's also refillable, so you can go in and buy a little concealer and refill it. They do recommend that the concealer is supposed to be used under the eyes to neutralize any dark circles and things like that. So I'm just going to be trying out the foundation today exactly how they recommend that you use it. I'm going to try and give it the best go that I possibly can. I also haven't seen any other reviews on this, so I'm not swayed in any way. First time trying this. This foundation and concealer is gonna set you back a good $40 US, so for all my fellow Aussies, that's about 50 bucks. So it is definitely a higher end foundation, so I'm expecting it to be good and to live up to all its claims. Let's just see if it does. Let's just jump into it. So I actually have 3 shades of the foundation, so I'm going to show you all of these, and then I'm going to test out the one that I think is best for me. I really like this little push pop lid that it's got. It's like a little, you push the lid down and the product comes out. That is really cool, but also really scary. I feel like it's going to, I feel like it's gonna like squirt out at me. So this first shade that I'm going to be trying is called Light 2. So this here is the shade Light 2, and it is very yellow. I've taken it all the way down my neck so that you can see just how well it matches me and my body, not so much my face. This next shade is Light 3. Still very yellow. I'm getting the sense that these foundations are yellow undertoned. And finally I have the shade Buff 7. Just from looking at the packaging, I just know it's gonna be way too dark. So yellow. From the packaging, I did not expect Buff 3 to look like that. That's all I'm saying. I mean, does that look like that? I mean, on camera, yes it does. But in real life, no, definitely does not. This in real life is like brown, like dark brown. And that's like yellow. So looking at all 3 of these side by side, I feel like the best color for me is the middle one. It sort of matches me the best in my opinion. Let me know in the comments if you think otherwise. But I'm gonna go with the middle shade, which is the very first one we tried, called Fair 2. This packaging, you guys, it looks like it's gonna be white, but that's definitely not white. Let's just take this off and we will apply the foundation properly. I'm also gonna zoom you in so you can get all up in there and see everything. I just wanna say before we continue, I'm really sorry if the lighting changes a lot throughout this video. It's a very cloudy day today and the clouds are coming like in and out, in and out, in and out, and there's not much I can do about it. So because this comes in like a little pump thing, I'm just gonna take 1 pump. Ooh, that was so satisfying. I'm just gonna take that much, which is what I assume they want us to take because that's exactly 1 pump. In my opinion, that seems like a lot, but we'll see how we go. So I will say I am not wearing any primer. I'm not gonna go in with primer just because I wanna try the foundation as is. I don't really wear primers anyway, and so I'm just gonna do what I normally do, and that is put on the foundation straight onto my cleansed skin and let it do its thing. So I'm gonna do this side of my face first, and I'm going to be using my Sigma foundation F60 brush. this is what that looks like. If you guys ever are shopping Sigma, don't forget that you can use my 10% off discount code, which is just Chels10. So I'm just gonna go straight in with this and see what happens. So immediately you can see it's yellow. It's quite yellow. A little is going a long way as well. I still have that much left in the pump. Yeah, I mean, that color is not bad and the coverage is pretty good. It's definitely covered up a little bit of the redness that I have from like my acne scarring and stuff, but you can still see a little bit of that pigmentation. It does say it's buildable, so we'll see if we can build it up a little bit more. I'm just gonna go in with a touch more. So I've got that much on my brush. It is definitely lightweight. I wouldn't say that it feels heavy, even though it's quite full coverage. Like, I don't feel like I have a full face of heavy foundation on right now, but it's definitely giving me those vibes in terms of coverage. I'm gonna leave under my eye just because we're gonna try out the concealer there, so I kind of want to just leave it blank and see how well the concealer does on its own. You know what I have noticed though is that it kind of starts out super yellow and then mellows out as it oxidizes and goes into like more of a warmer tone. For example, if I just put like a little bit more here, you can see how different that color is to the rest that's already settled in with my skin. I'm not quite sure about this brush application, to be honest. It's not my favorite. I don't know if you guys can see, but it's just kind of leaving weird lines. Like, if I zoom you right on in, can you see there? It's just kind of like removing it more so than applying it. I definitely think this is the right color for me, even though the foundation on this side looks very drastically different to my natural skin color. It does match my neck pretty damn well, so I'm happy with the color choice. It's definitely matte, definitely matte. I would not try and use cream color with this because it kind of sets. It's still sticky to the touch, so it definitely transfers onto your fingers. Can you see what I mean there? It has covered up my redness and scarring, but you can still see it. So it's definitely not like full coverage, and that is 2 layers there. But we'll see how we go with the sponge side. Now I'm just gonna go directly in with some product that is on my sponge. This definitely has sheared it out a lot more using the sponge, probably because the sponge is picking up a lot of product as well. So in my opinion, this side with the sponge looks so much better than the side with the foundation brush. It's just kind of sitting much nicer on the skin and not like patchy. Okay, so you can see the side with the Beauty Blender is a lot more sheer and this side is much more full coverage. That is the end of that one pump that I did. So what I might do is half a pump and go and kind of match this side of my face to this side of my face. And then I will zoom you in and we can have a look at foundation. Okay, so I just went over my whole face with a sponge because in my opinion that looked a lot better, and I really like this. Like, it's matte, but it's still got that glow to it, which means it can be full coverage, but it still looks like skin. Like, it's not super cakey. It is settling into some lines around here, but you know what? I'm not mad at it. At this stage, I quite like this. We'll zoom you all the way in so you can see the finish of the foundation. So as you can see really close up, it's definitely full coverage. Like, this is my skin here. You can see my veins. It's quite blue, and then this is with the foundation. You can see here that it is still looking like skin. It's not super cakey. So I quite like that side of it. It's quite pretty and lightweight and sits really nicely on the skin. Like, I don't know about you guys, but that looks quite nice to me. But you can definitely tell from like my dark circles here to the foundation here that it's definitely full coverage. So now we're gonna go ahead and try out the concealer, which I'm very excited about. Basically, just pop up the lid and hello, there is your little concealer. It's quite small. It is refillable though, so you can buy a top up and pop it in the lid. The only thing that I do not like about concealers like this is that to me it's super unhygienic using your finger. Blech. So what I'm going to do is use a stainless steel little tool. I'm just going to scrape out a little bit and then apply it to my face. Whoa, it is super creamy. It's very sticky. I feel like this would definitely crease if you didn't set it. I mean, it covered up my dark circles a little bit. You can still kind of see some darkness, but it's okay. It's not too bad. So this is with the concealer. Honestly, I think it looks quite fresh. It blended out like a dream, thankfully, because I feel like it should be compatible with the foundation, right? So I'm quite happy with that result. Again, I do just prefer to use the sponge. Using your finger definitely has its benefits. Because it's warm, it's going to melt the product into your skin and make it easier to blend. However, a lot of it just ended up on my finger. So there is that product wastage, which I guess you are going to have some in your sponge as well. So it's kind of personal preference. I just prefer a sponge. It's less messy to me. I'll zoom you on in though so you can see the concealer. So it's definitely covered up my dark circles, but you can see a little bit of blue in here. But personally, I would normally highlight anyway. So I'm going to go in with another concealer on top of this anyway. So it's not the biggest deal to me that you've got that blueness there. If you are someone that just likes to do foundation and concealer like this, I think this is very wearable, and it's definitely blended nicely. It's not creasing too badly, which I thought it was, which is a nice surprise. So that is that. Now that I've had this foundation on for quite some time, it's still very tacky and it definitely transfers a lot onto my hand when I touch it. So Harry, I hope you haven't chosen a white t-shirt for today, but you know what, I would normally set my foundation anyway, so that's not such a big deal for me. Having said that, what I'm going to do now is go ahead and do the rest of my makeup as normal, and then I'm just going to go about my day. Today I've just got planned, I've got to go to the supermarket, I've got to get some stuff from Priceline, and then I'm going to take the dogs for a walk. So it's not too hot outside either, so I shouldn't really be like sweating this off. I'm not doing anything too crazy. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, and then I'll check in with you guys a little bit later on. Hey guys, okay, so it has been about 2 hours since I last spoke to you. Now that I've set the foundation with powder and things like that, it definitely doesn't transfer onto my finger at all. There's no like excess foundation that's coming off or anything like that, which is good. It is quite cakey though, so I will zoom you in and show you what I mean, and it is kind of coming off in areas a bit strange, and it's definitely settling into like my smile lines and the lines on my forehead, but I will zoom you in and show you guys what I mean. Okay, so firstly, it is quite cakey, kind of like around my nose. I also did try cream contour only on my nose because if it was gonna ruin the foundation, I didn't want to do it everywhere, so I just tried it on my nose and it definitely has come off. You can also see on my forehead, it's like really settled into these fine lines that I have just from like doing this. It just really defines those lines, which is not really what I want. Overall, from afar, the foundation looks flawless and beautiful, but up close it is quite thick and cakey because it is a buildable formula and because it is matte. It kind of settles into areas where you're quite mobile, so like your smile lines, your forehead and things like that. It hasn't gone oily on me yet, which is good. We're 2 hours in, so it's still early in the day, but usually I go oily very quickly, so we'll see as the day progresses how that goes. But yeah, that's all for this check-in. I'll see you guys in a few hours. Hey guys, so it is now 8 o'clock in the evening and I have officially had this on for 10 hours. And I'm not that oily. I'm not that oily, and I'm like, what is going on? I am normally so oily. If you have seen any of the other foundation reviews that I've done, you know what I mean. I get seriously oily, and these lights that I have in my room, my studio lighting, really accentuates oil. So the fact that I am not that oily is like really bizarre to me. I will zoom you in so you guys can have a little bit of a look at what the foundation looks like up close now that I've been wearing it for 10 hours. So here is the foundation after 10 hours. To be honest, I feel like it doesn't look that bad. It's definitely coming off on my nose and areas around here. I have been wearing my glasses a lot today as well, so it's coming off like where my glasses have rubbed. But my actual face itself, it doesn't look that bad. Quite impressed. It's definitely settled into my lines at the top here, you can see, and yeah, it's definitely come off my nose. But other than that, it's not really that bad. My final thoughts on this foundation is that I actually do really like it. If my face can look like this after 10 hours of wear with absolutely no touch-ups, pretty damn impressed. The only thing that I would say with this is it gets very cakey and it is very dry. So it does settle into fine lines and your smile lines and things like that. Any expression lines that you might have on your face, it's definitely going to settle into them. So just be wary of that. Go with a very light hand and then build it up in any areas that you need more coverage. I think I did 1.5 pumps. I don't really remember, but you guys will see. I'm pretty sure I did 1.5 pumps, and honestly, like 1 pump is plenty enough. I am super excited to try this foundation a little bit more and get used to it, because I just love that I'm not oily. Like, I'm just so excited about that fact. My skin is not oily, but I still kind of have that glow to it without being like oil slicked, and it's not dewy, it's definitely matte, but you still have that kind of glow. The fact that I haven't touched this up at all, I'm pretty impressed that I'm not oily. I just can't believe it. With regard to the concealer, it held up pretty well, did not crease that much. Not as much as I thought it was going to, which I quite liked. It also felt from how creamy it was that it might move around, and my dark circles are still not popping through even 10 hours later. So you know what, I'm gonna give this foundation a thumbs up from me, just because I feel like if I had to work throughout the day and then I had something on in the evening afterwards, like a dinner or whatever, you name it, I feel like this foundation would hold up into nighttime, and I could just add like a bolder lip or add a little bit more eyeshadow or add lashes or something, and my base would still look good. It performed pretty well with powders on top of it. I didn't use cream products. Like I said, I just used cream on my nose, and you know what? It's good. I can't complain. I like it. Alright you guys, so that is going to be it from me. I hope that you enjoyed this foundation review on the Stila Stay All Day foundation and concealer. If you have any questions about the foundation or the concealer, feel free to leave them in the comment section below and I will answer them as best I can for you. I hope that you guys have an awesome day, and I will see you in my next video, if not sooner. Bye!